Hello and welcome to the Rusty Quill Gaming Podcast. I'm your host and GM today, Bryn Monroe, and with me I have...
Ben Meredith.
James Ross.
Alex Newall.
And...
Goddo.
A depressing silence. That's right, Lydia is off on some real-life adventures on the other side of the world, so it's just the four of us today, and as you might have noticed, it is not your usual host and GM. We're deciding to shake things up a bit, and I will be hosting and GMing.
Oh, no one told.
Oh.
I mean, had all this...
When I want your opinion, I'll give it to you, Alex.
You will do well, Bryn, you will do well.
For the benefit of the listeners at home, Bryn's got one of those little GM screens, but the top is like fortified with like broken glass in cement to stop intruders.
I don't know how he managed to get so many trebuchets behind that, but it
it's
looks
also
amazing.
painted with anti-climb paint. Let's introduce some characters. I'm only introduced two of them. I'm not yet going to introduce Alex's character.
Because I'm a character!
Because Alex is playing character, but the other two do not know whom. So we're going
We
to
kill the troll. Oh!
we're going to hold on to that mystery a little longer. James, who are you playing?
Into the street.
I am playing Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham, yes, striking out boldly on his own spin-off adventure.
And Ben, who are you playing today?
Tjelvar Stornsnasson, archaeologist extraordinaire.
We don't have a lot of time to meet Ben's character right now, but I'm sure we'll get to it as the episode goes on. So, our regular listeners will remember in episode 39, when there was a fight on the rooftop and things did not go well for our heroes.
They could have gone better.
They could have gone worse.
Bertie wandered off. And
not
we
wandered,
didn't...
stormed off.
Trained.
Don't
He trained off in a train.
Traipsed off.
Yes. Don't push your motors on me.
I'm the one who understands my
then-
interiority.
and-
Don't tell me how to feel.
And then there was that bit where Bertie was like picking fights with loads of innocent people off camera, and it was just...
Yeah. He was a nightmare in the trailer. I'll tell you.
So today, we're finding out what happened to him. That's right, we're going to see it from Bertie's perspective.
Oh, everyone's horrible apart from the rich. Oh my god, who saw that coming?
Oh, what a beautiful mirror.
We know that Bertie got on a train, but before we get back to that point, we're going to flash back a little further. So things have gone slightly wrong. Bertie has wandered off from the rest of the group, and he's heading back to the hotel to retrieve all his stuff with the intention of heading to London, was it?
London, yep, that's the plan.
Okay, so you reach the desk of Le Triomphe. Mm-hmm. Oh god, I have to say so many things in my terrible French accent today. We'll see how I cope with that.
Just do your low accent, that'll be fine.
And one of the many staff there comes up to you and hands you a letter. The letter has several addresses on it, most of them crossed out. So the first address is Old Bottom, the family estate. The second address is the exclusive Knightsbridge flat where Hamid stayed. The third is the address of the hotel where you were staying in Dover. The fourth is Se, the address of the and the address of the hotel.
I like to think that
you
they don't
stayed at
have
in
an
Calais.
address, they have a thumbprint or something.
An artful minimalist drawing of a map.
So are you saying they've changed their name now to the hotel formerly known as?
And the fifth one, the only one that hasn't been crossed out, is of course the address of Le Triomphe, Paris. And right at the top, above all these crossed out addresses, is Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham.
A letter. Excellent.
Yes, sir, it arrived for you very recently.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Is there anything else we can help you with?
No, that's fine. Leave now.
He bows obsequiously.
Correct.
And departs.
10 out of 10 would battle again.
Bertie takes the letter. Just because I haven't used it so far in this adventure, indeed since we started, Bertie does actually have a rapier, so as a dress weapon. So he's going to use that
As a letter opener.
As a letter opener.
Points for style.
Yep. I'm going to pop a patch.
Negative points for effectiveness.
Yes.
There are any other points?
Okay. So he opens the letter.
For the attention of Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham. I hope, Sir Bertrand, you shall forgive me for contacting you without the courtesy of a formal introduction. Maybe. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Tjelvar Stornsnasson, archaeologist and adventurer. I read of your recent heroism during the incident at Edison's presentation in the London papers, and I have a proposition for you. I hope you shall hear me out, even if what I say sounds a little fantastical. I am searching for the lost tomb of Hannibal. I am aware that this is an endeavour that many less adventurous individuals consider hopeless, but that your ancestor Sir Everard MacGuffingham took very seriously. I believe he was a lot closer than he realised, and a great deal closer than any other searcher. Though I have reason to hope that I am at last on the right trail, I do not need to inform you of what it would mean to finally discover the tomb, but I will.
Glory, riches, and going down in history as someone who uncovered what is arguably one of the most important relics regarding the human race. I believe that thanks to your predecessor, you may be in possession of vital information that would help me to accomplish what no other man or woman has been able to do. I must confess that I would also consider the assistance of a man of your skills and prowess invaluable. Indeed, it would be an honour to work with a man of such prestige and familial gravity such as yourself. I hope you might be persuaded to join me in the completion of my quest, possibly with your companions, if they might also be amenable to such an adventure. I'm currently in the town of Albertville, which I believe is close to the location of the tomb. I will be staying in the tavern The Yeti's Claw in the foreign quarter for the duration of the winter at least. Please find me there if you feel we might be able to assist each other in any way. Yours hopefully, Tjelvar Stornsnasson.
Brilliant. Well, so, Bertie, you've read the letter.
You there! You! Yes, you, the wood butler again! You!
Oui?
What is the best way to the town of Albertville?
Perhaps a train to Lyon, and then the stagecoach will take you to the nearby town, and then you might have to hire a horse or a cart to get you up into the mountains to Albertville.
Excellent, superb. Call me a cab to the station at once.
Of course, sir, of course.
And book me a ticket.
Done.
And stand on one leg.
Okay.
The other one.
Right.
And then hop.
He hops off.
9 out of 10. Insufficient hopping.
Insufficient butling.
We will cut back to, because we already know what happens
Yes,
at
we
the
do.
train station. We've already seen that back in episode 39.
Need to see it again.
Hamid running after the train, reaching out to his friend.
And if you play back the recording, you can hear the exact moment that his heart breaks.
I might go back and add it.
Hamid sprouting dragon wings and flying after the train.
But no matter how hard he flies.
Tears of flame running down his face as he finally achieves level 8 spells.
Bryn, back to it.
That's how I remember it. That's pretty much what happened, right? As a GM, I get to determine what is truth. So when we next see Hamid, he'll be a much higher level. Okay, so on the train, Bertie, you've been thinking about the letter and what was said in the letter about your ancestor Everard.
Sir Everard.
Sir Everard.
Thank you, history.
Obviously, we know that he achieved many great things, found many ancient treasures, but you don't remember necessarily that he searched for the tomb of Hannibal, which is one of the most famous relics from the ancient world that no one's ever found, and a lot of people consider a myth. But whilst you're on the train, heading south towards Lyon, something comes back to you, a poem you were forced to learn as a child.
Forced learning, that sounds about right.
It's only 8 lines long. It was allegedly written by Finch, Everard's squire. Mm-hmm. You were forced to learn it in both English and Greek. And you feel that really the Greek version is the better one, but I've handed it to you in English, I'm afraid. It's the best I could do.
Thank you. Stalwartly, to ancient lands he strode, stout-limbed and mind fixed on fortune. Glory of Falcon House he sought out, known he was for noble venture. Sages warned against seeking general's tomb, smiling he poured scorn on question. Of danger or cursed durance vile, feeble fears was his conjecture. Through Punic sands and time did he roar, empty vales, fruitless orchard roots, vexatious searches of foreign shores. Tempers snapped, mute men raised disputes, arrogant aspersions cast by all, casting paths ahead with sorrow. His story now rests in peace unsought, for pride can saving grace outgrow.
Lovely. Now, those who know me well...
Spot the teacher.
Yes,
teacher.
Those who know me well will know my ability to comprehend, appreciate, understand poetry is somewhat lacking, and my ability to write it is even...
Superior.
Even more lacking.
Taking part is the main thing.
So I must confess at this point that as a GM, I did seek outside assistance. I brought in an expert in both GMing and poetry, Mr. Anil Godagamui.
It's almost like he's in the room with us, I think.
I feel his presence.
Yeah.
His presence can be felt.
Yeah.
Certainly, if I reach out to my right.
It's like he's rolling his eyes.
He's very quiet though, because he knows that if he were to make a noise, it would disrupt the audio. So that's good.
And then he'd have to deal with the social media fallout.
Yeah. So those of you who pay attention will know that Anil is our social media manager currently. Right. So from Leon.
So we're in Leon.
We can cut straight to Leon.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Just say
there is no problem with it taking you almost a week to make it like one journey across the channel. That's perfectly
Yeah, the adventure's under new management.
So you make it to every single major point that the campaign has to hit. Everything was fine. There was someone waiting there, and they gave you everything that you needed, and you've returned to London.
Good.
You return home. Well, that
Lovely.
went well.
Good. That was right.
Time to
efficient.
part ways, I suppose.
So from Leon, there is a regular stagecoach to Chambéry.
Mm-hmm.
It runs every hour, which was the next town you were told to go to, and then from Chambéry you'll have to make your own way up into the mountains to Albeville.
There we are. I assume that word has been sent ahead to book a carriage for Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham by the hotel.
No, they arranged you a cab to the station in Paris and booked your train ticket to Lyon, but after that you are now on your own.
6 out of 10 would only bottle in an emergency.
And I do not speak the language. There we are. From where within the station is the carriage to Chambéry taken from?
So the station is on the main square in the centre of one of the main squares in the centre of Lyon. The stagecoach rank is on another side of the square. There are coaches going to a lot of the surrounding towns that don't have train stations. There are about 3 stagecoaches lined up. They are not labelled.
Bertie goes up to the driver of the first one. Chambéry!
Oui. You don't have any luggage, I guess, do you?
I'm sort of in a...
You have an empty papoose.
Yeah, I have an empty
Oh.
it's not quite empty. It is filled with tears. So it's got a few tears in it. Yeah,
So the stagecoach Chambéry, you have to wait a little while. It fills up. It's not empty. It's not empty. There's several people taking this journey with you. You make it there. It only takes a couple of hours on the stagecoach to get to Chambéry. You can see the Alps from Chambéry. They're rising above you towards the east and a little bit towards the south as well. So again, there's a town square. This time there's a large church at one end of the town square and a row of shops, and then an official-looking building with columns outside as well.
Is there anywhere that looks like a horse purveying emporium? Or...
not that's immediately obvious to Bertie, no.
Okay,
Is
fair
there any
enough.
big billboard saying it behooves you to buy our horse? Trot along now.
So Bertie's going to have a quick peer down the side streets that are immediately branching off from the square to see if there's anywhere that looks like an appropriate second-hand horse. Well, you probably want about a 13 or 14-hand horse, really.
He's got a lot of armour.
Sort of what you're after. So he's just going to have a peer down the side road, see if there's anywhere that's immediately obvious, because as any proper British gentleman, he doesn't want to ask for directions if he can possibly help it. Even if there's nobody to see him ask for directions.
Give me a perception check.
9 minus 1 is 8.
It's fine. I'm sure one of the rest of the party will. Oh wait.
It takes you a while. You're pretty frustrated by the time, and you're sure you walked past down this road already, and you didn't see it the first time, and yet suddenly, right in front of you, there's a stables, and it's not clear whether horses are actually for sale. You don't read the signs outside. There's clearly a plentiful supply of horses here. I mean, they've got more than they need, at the very least.
Surplus horses. Okay.
There's someone who is spooning large piles of oats into various sacks.
When you said spooning,
I was
meant,
just spooning a horse.
Cuddling a pony.
You found yourself.
Shoveling piles of oats into various sacks.
Okay. Bertie's going to have a sort of a quick look at the horses, see what range of horses appears to be available.
You know horses.
I know horses.
And you can tell that there's actually some pretty good horses here. There's a couple of rather fine-looking stallions, a couple of what you assume are breeding mares, and as well as some everyday work horses and a couple of donkeys as well.
Lovely. So Bertie goes up to the man who is doing the oat shoveling, taps him on the shoulder.
Hello there, I am Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham, and I require your finest horse.
Bertie gets out his coin purse and jingles while pointing at the horse.
50. 50.
Is that a good
dice rolls in this context.
The important thing is that I don't know that Bertie would know anyway,
No,
so you're
that's true.
fine. Don't look at
Fair
me.
enough. Bertie marches up to the horses and starts looking them in their mouths and generally examining the horses because he is going to find the finest horse. And he is going to do this with great ceremony. He's going to do the whole thing of like, tapping the sides of the horse.
I mean, my wife, she doesn't really want this horse. She wants a family horse.
A family horse, like a practical, an all-terrain horse, really.
No, I don't want the underhide coating.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. Look at this one. I mean, like, look at the hooves are all deflated.
There's a dent in that one.
Yeah.
Give me a ride check, but ignore your armor check penalty.
Yeah, cool. 10 plus 7 is 17.
There's two very good horses.
I am going to make direct eye contact with one of the horses. And just stare it out and see if there's a deep spiritual connection between Bertie and horse.
Give me a handle animal check.
Bryn, is this the part where I speak?
15 plus handle animal of 7 is 22.
You meet its gaze and you do not let go, and eventually it bows its head forward and starts nuzzling at you.
Ah, you'll do.
All I want is unquestioning adoration. Is that so much to ask?
50?
30.
You get the horse for 40 gold
Done.
pieces.
Sold.
Horse. Name horse.
Yeah.
Bertie points at himself.
Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham.
Points at the man.
French man.
Horse.
Very well. Horse. Mr. Horse it is. Mr. Horse.
Mr. Horse. Bertie makes very powerful, intense eye contact.
Mr. Horse. Mr. Horse. You are known as Mr. Horse.
Unfortunately, the horse only speaks French.
I was going to say, yeah, you hear a voice in your head and you don't understand what it
Monsieur
says.
Horse. Monsieur Horse.
There's a bright spark of recognition.
Yeah. Look at that. He's Monsieur Horse. I'm Monsieur Horse.
You get a saddle as well. The horse is kitted out. Those are thrown in for the price because you got
Horse stereo as
completely
well.
fleeced.
Yep.
There are 4 main roads out of Chambéry, but they
Yep.
are well signposted. Basically, you're heading east up into the hills. It takes you several hours, so it's probably early evening by the time you arrive in Albertville. So Albertville is set in a valley between several of these peaks. For the last few hours, you've been trotting alongside a river that runs down the valley, and the river in Albertville, the river splits. And as you come up to the town, because it's on a slope, you can see most of the town. And you can see that on the near side of it, there's a kind of a handful of scattered buildings, mostly wood and not very well constructed. And on the other side, the higher side of the river, there's a lot of incredibly well built stone houses, much larger and grander. They are quite austere. There's not a lot of decoration to them like you might see back in Britain or other parts of France. And it's not a huge place, but the road...
Congratulations, Albertville. I have arrived. You are now a 2-horse town.
Bertie will just assume that anybody who is writing to him will be in the nicer part of the town. Bertie will accost a local.
So another thing that's happened as you've headed higher into the hills is the temperature has dropped. The road is relatively clear, but around you there's quite a lot of snow on the ground, and things have gotten a lot colder. So it's almost not a surprise that there are not many people here.
Don't worry, people of Albertville. It's nippy out, but my manner is warm and friendly. Hello? Hello?
A older woman sticks her head out of one of the doors and goes, "Shh!" and says something in French.
The Yeti's claw. Yeti's claw.
She glares at you and points up the hill towards the river.
Thank you, annoying French woman.
It's actually one of the larger buildings in this part of the town. It's still made of wood, like most of them, but there's a bit of stone around the foundations. It looks quite old. It's probably one of the older buildings you've seen, at least on this side of this river. There is, hanging from a post, an old and desiccated claw, covered in what once might have been white fur.
Right. Grim. But it's definitely Yeti's claw. Okay, so, well, I say definitely. Alright.
Give me a perception roll.
Welcome to the really big, but definitely not a Yeti's claw.
6 minus 1 is 5.
Thank you.
So, Bertie ties up Monsieur Horse at the front and opens the door if it's open.
Yep, it's open. You walk into the tavern, and right in front of you is, sitting at our table, papers spread all over the place in front of him, an orc.
Mr. Stornsnasson, I assume.
Yes.
So why don't you give us a quick description of your character, Ben?
He's solidly built for an orc, so obviously athletic and used to an outdoor life, but not terrifyingly bulky, so not a hugely muscled person. Grey skin and solid black eyes, which is sort of average for an orc. And there's a wild mat of black hair sort of poking out from underneath a wide-brimmed hat. A hat which I'm going to call the Indiana Jones Classic.
Okay.
Because I'm nothing if not playing Indy tropes. Open and friendly-faced, but marred somewhat by a grisly skull which has torn his top and bottom lip apart, revealing the teeth beneath. However, it doesn't really present any difficulties with speech, apart from my ability to deliver this speech. It's merely superficial. And he holds his expression in such a way that the scar, which on other people might look a little alarming and gruesome, merely provides an interest to his reasonably handsome face.
Likes pina coladas, long walks on the beach.
Oh, well, you know.
Going out and having fun, but also staying in with a bottle of wine and a DVD. Okay, all right.
He's currently wearing heavy winter clothes and has an absolutely huge backpack sitting on the floor next to him. And over, my shoulder is a multi-pocketed quiver made of brown leather with a lid over each section.
Mm-hmm. And so spread on the table in front of Tjelvar is piles of paper. A couple of them are clearly maps, you can see. They're mostly handwritten. The handwriting varies massively. And you do a quick scan of the rest of the room. There's sort of 8 tables. Most of them are empty, but there are several other people in the room as well.
Mr. Stornsnasson, there I am, Sir Bertrand
MacGuffingham, yes.
It is a pleasure for you to meet me. Well done. I can only congratulate you on what must be one of, if not the best days of your life. When I read your letter, you have lovely handwriting, by the way, at times almost New Roman. And
That is a period I've studied quite a lot.
Yes! Myself as well, for I am a man of fine distinction and learning, classically educated in the appropriate style for a man of my bearing. Now,
Do you care to take a seat? I can get you a drink.
excellent, please. I would be very grateful.
I'll wave to the bartender and get a couple of mulled wines, or the equivalent for
Mulled
Austria.
cider.
Mulled cider
is
very nice.
is the drink of choice of the Yeti's Claw. The barman looks relieved. He's been trapped in conversation with a large, boisterous man at the bar, and he brings them over to your table.
Yes, so, I have to say, meeting you, from the stories I've heard of Everard, you are a spit for him. So, well done, and might I compliment you on your wonderful armour?
You may do so again.
Then I shall. Very nice armour, Sir Bertrand.
Yes, thank you.
So, this is good. You received the letter, and did you have anything off the top of your head that might help at all? Obviously, I think that there's a certain amount of specific knowledge that you may be in possession of that may help us to finally, well, not to put it a bit too lightly, make the greatest discovery of our time ever.
Truth be told, Mr. Stornsnasson, my knowledge on this is somewhat limited, although, of course, I am acquainted with a great many of Sir Everard MacGuffingham's magnificent and tremendous achievements, and, of course, as a regular human being, I am in awe of them as much as you are, though possibly slightly less, because I am myself really very impressive. But in terms of specific knowledge, there is this charming rhyme that was passed down to me that I was forced to learn as a child, and Bertie then recites it, which might perhaps provide some clues. Perhaps we might put at the time, of course, as a child, I thought, what a nuisance learning this. This seems rather florid and pointless. I'd rather be out. Now I come to see its purpose.
Right. Well, good. It looks like the second verse is probably a little more useful. It seems to generally be a warning, though.
Yes. Well, that's what I'm here for.
Right. Well,
When I see danger, you know what I do?
what do you do?
Ignore it.
Could you both give me perception rolls?
Yes.
5 minus 1 is 4.
Woo! 12 plus 8 is 20.
I'm indoors.
Ooh, nice cider.
The room was rather quiet, and the two of you are having a much louder conversation. So you notice that the rest of the room.
I don't know what you mean!
What?
The rest of the room has certainly noticed what is going on. A lot of them have been sort of glancing over to you, and they perhaps look a little annoyed that their peace has been disturbed. But the very large gentleman who was standing at the bar previously is now walking over to your table, As I said, he's very large. He's probably taller than Bertie, which is not very common. Wearing sort of layers of fur and hard hide armour. He is bald with tattoos across his face and head, and he's got a gigantic sword strapped to his back. And you see him coming over, but Bertie clearly hasn't noticed, and his very large hand drops onto Bertie's shoulder.
In French. Excuse me, is there anything we can do for you?
I recognize you!
He speaks in English.
Oh, well, good.
Bertie turns. Ah, rough trade. Excellent.
You girly man!
Bertie turns absolutely silent, knocks the chair over, and stands up and turns and looks him straight in the chin.
I saw a picture of you! Pink feathers!
While he's distracted laughing, Bertie just quietly headbutts him in the face.
Make an attack roll.
Okay. 6 + 6 is 12.
No. Oh, 3 plus. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. Sorry, I think.
Okay.
You
We're helping.
you just about make contact, but he's tall enough, and his laughter has thrown his head back, so it's actually only a glancing blow. It doesn't seem to have caused
He's
much
just stunned your head into his
damage.
chest.
Yeah.
Roll for initiative.
Yes, I suppose I must.
Alex, could you roll for initiative as well,
Oh,
please?
go on,
Well, I'm
man.
definitely not playing Zolf because I rolled well.
I rolled 18.
I also rolled 18, so that's 20.
14 plus 1 is 15.
The barbarian steps back, looking daggers at you, and he...
And 1d4 damage.
Yeah, no, not that worried about angry glances. If looks could kill, I mean, like, it's going to take him a while.
If looks could kill, Bertie wouldn't be allowed outside.
No.
You see his face turning red. Like, literally, he almost seems to grow as he just... His eyes cloud over as he pulls, clearly popping some straps, he pulls the giant sword off his back, ready to face you.
I'm waiting for him to start screaming Dragon Ball Z style.
Tjelvar.
I will leap up and then kind of place myself in between Bertie and the clearly very angry man. Well, the two very angry men. Wait, hang on a minute. How about a round for everyone? Yes, we're all friends here. Let's not get kicked out because there will be no more alcohol after that, yeah? And try and make a diplomacy check.
Make a diplomacy check.
I shall.
Make a really good diplomacy check.
No. I refuse. 9 plus 9, 18.
No more drinking, let's get straight to dancing. Come on then.
Oh, no, wait. There are the humanoids. So it's 9 plus 9 plus 4. So that is 22, yes.
Your words barely seem to register on this man. His eyes have glazed over, as I said, his face has turned very, very red.
I mean, he's
He
probably
doesn't-
resistant to like well-reasoned arguments as well.
He almost doesn't notice you. He's focused very heavily on Bertie.
Come on then, Thicky McPansy, let's have it.
Bertie.
Just asking, how aware is everyone else in the tavern of what's going on?
So,
I mean, they were quite loud,
Would
so I'm
assume
just...
very.
I'd assume so, but I
Who
don't
doesn't
know.
notice a tavern brawl set going on?
But it's not happened yet. So far it's dunk. That's all.
so
that's
this is all happening very quickly.
Yeah.
But from where you're sitting, I wonder where that is. You can see that most of the patrons have reacted and are finishing their drinks, basically. The barman has sort of ducked down behind the bar, and the person you're sitting with certainly seems to have grown very wary. He's not yet standing up, but he's watching very closely, as are you, as are the other people on the other side of the room. So, Bertie, it's your action.
Am I right next to this chap?
I've interjected myself between the two.
Yeah.
In that case, I'm going to take a 5-foot step and power attack him with the bastard sword.
Sure, because your base attack bonus is +3, you can trade away 1, 2, or 3 points of your attack, and you will gain 2, 4, or 6 points to damage.
He's a big man, and he's not wearing like heavy armor. He's got like leather armor.
He's right in front of you. What's the worst that could happen?
Miss and hit a table.
In that case,
If that's the worst, I mean, Bertie's all over that.
Can I take 20 from this?
in that case, let's put it all on red. Why not? Why not bet all 3? There we go. I suspect this is probably a bad move. 7. Yes.
If it's any consolation, you probably would have missed anyway.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
12.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you miss.
Okay.
Wild, powerful swing.
Yeah. So wild, powerful swing just swishes past his left arm,
Does it hit the table? Does it hit the table?
taking out the bottom chip of a small occasional table next to it, and the table just teeters over, and a vase falls.
Well, it's
onto the
very
floor,
occasionally a
smashing.
table at this point.
Yep. Never be a table again. Its occasion has passed.
But I take my joke and just make it slightly better.
Sorry. That's what I do. Cool.
Alex, does your character do anything at this point?
How far is my character from Bertie?
Probably 20 foot?
Do I have a direct line of charge?
No.
Then I will take this turn to stand, throw off whatever coverings I have, exposing myself in my brazen glory, draw my weapon, which I'm going to leave you to decide what is described and what is not, point it straight at them, and yell in the loudest possible voice, "Evil doer!" and point it straight at Bertie.
On the other side of the room, your attention is drawn as 2 men stand up from their chairs.
Is he 2 men in an overcoat?
You're ruining the episode!
Both of them have large sun emblems on their chest. The shorter man, it's carved into a breastplate. The sun is painted gold. The slightly taller one, it's on a tabard, white tabard over chainmail. They both draw morning stars. The man in the breastplate, the breastplate is glowing with an almost golden sheen, and the morning star looks the same. It's clearly not just a mundane morning star. Exactly what's going on there? Well, it's slightly golden and slightly glittery. And it's that one, the more glittery of the two, who shouts at the 2 of you.
Mind your own business. I don't get in your way when you're going out god clubbing.
On the other side of the room, there are 2 women who've been having a nice quiet drink together, who have tipped their table over and are now sitting behind it because they cannot be bothered with all you terrible men.
Wise.
And in the far corner, there's a gnome who appears to be napping.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Right.
even noticed.
Is he a smartly dressed gnome or just a regular common or garden gnome?
Yes.
Serious question.
Is he a
You
terrifying lawyer?
don't have time to assess his state
Okay,
of dress at
fine,
this point
okay.
in the combat.
The
Right.
idea you've got someone taller even than Bertie going, "Blah!" Someone randomly standing up, brandishing a weapon, and you're going, "That no." The one who's asleep, who are you? I want to know you.
I mean, if dressed in a certain way, probably the most dangerous
Yes.
person in the room.
By quite a considerable margin.
I don't know, I'm just a player.
The barbarian swings at you with the giant sword and rolls a 16. It simply bounces off your armour, so you feel the blow. There's a lot of power behind this blow, but he's hit straight against the strongest point of the armour because he's clearly not the sharpest tool in the box.
Try again, muggle chump. Go on.
And the jollity that was in his voice before has vanished as he goes,
I'm going to take your shiny sword, girly man.
the voice sounds almost different. There's like this very raw note in it now.
You may indeed take it, sir, between your ribs.
Tjelvar.
I'm going to turn to Alex's character and say, he's not an evildoer, you nincompoop, it's a bar brawl.
I just
Help me stop it.
There's a moment's hesitation. Look left, look right. All evildoers!
Yeah, so I am going to try and kind of wrestle the sword out of the barbarian's grip.
Okay, make a disarm attempt.
Yes, I'm assuming that is a combat maneuver.
Yep.
Look at us engaging with all these new mechanics.
My combat maneuver bonus is...
Are you currently unarmed?
yes.
You will be provoking an attack of opportunity.
I mean, I'm not going to arm myself to then try and grab his sword with my hands, so... Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, does an improvised weapon count as being armed?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna grab the remains of the vase, throw it in the barbarian's face to distract him, and then wrestle his weapon out of his hand.
If you've just thrown away the improvise.
Okay, I'll keep hold of the vase and wrestle it out of his hand.
Right.
Ignoring
It's just reassuring.
Hit his
Like,
hand
that's-
with the vase.
Yes,
Done.
you hit his hand with the vase.
Fine, and
Yes.
then do a combat maneuver. Oh, that's a terrible roll. No. Like,
Why did you try to disarm the guy with a vase? You're crazy.
Yeah, I know.
The vase
6.
The vase shatters against his hand, and he still hasn't noticed you.
Bertie's turn.
Bertie's turn.
Bertie, attacks again. Not with a power attack this time, just a standard attack. I think that is probably wise. Cool. 13 plus attack bonus of
That's
8.
successful.
21. Cool.
Yep, you hit him. How much damage do you do?
D10 plus 4. 2 plus 4 is 6.
He seems almost surprised that you've managed to hit him, and he stumbles back, smashing the table that your drinks were on beneath him.
Oh,
And he bounds back to his feet, but he's now dripping the mulled cider that the two of you previously drinking, and the papers that Tjelvar had are scattered everywhere, and a few of them have beer on them.
What?
Do you realise what an admin nightmare you're creating?
Alex.
So I'm slightly closer by my reckoning to the barbarian. I'm going to just move up to whoever he is and attempting to use my Morning Star for non-lethal damage, so taking a slight penalty.
Sure.
I'm just going to go straight to his head with it. It's a formidable roll of an 8 for an even more formidable 16.
That's a hit.
In which case, that's 1d8 plus 4. It's been so long since I had to play as a character, I don't know what anything does. Right,
You roll that.
Then add 4.
7. Bang!
Your travelling companion, who's also stood up, does not approach the fight, but does cast a spell. The barbarian stops moving.
In a paralysis kind of way? Or
He is completely stationary.
So, like, statue still kind of...
Yeah, so he looks almost off balance because he was still standing up and extricating himself from the ruins of your table. So he has stopped moving in quite a strange position.
Oh, so the kind of position that no one should be able to hold themselves up in.
Yes.
Right.
Tjelvar,
Grab his sword, or attempt to, like, wrestle the sword out of his hand.
give me a strength check.
Yup. That's not bad. 15.
You pull the sword from his hand. It's difficult because his hand literally can't move to give way, but you've got the
So he's
sword
sort
out
of
of his
sliding
hand.
it out,
Yeah,
I
it pops
suppose.
out.
Bertie,
So if I try and hit him now, then...
it will be ridiculously easy.
Okay. I think Bertie would regard just chopping his head off at this point as being somewhat unsporting, so he's just going to...
Chop an arm.
That'll learn you.
He's just going to kick him in the knackers. That's what he's going to do. That is...
Oh, with
what-
a plate mail foot.
Yep, that is what
Okay.
Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham would do against
Sure.
an unarmed crotch that has offended him.
Just an attack roll. Again, you don't get your weapon bonus, but all the rest
8.
will apply. That's successful.
Cool.
He's basically got almost 0 AC right now because he's
Might add a faint
stationary.
pop to the audio.
Roll me a d6.
1. Wow.
Just one
that
pop.
is-
Plus strength.
Oh, plus strength, sorry.
Oh yeah.
For 4.
4 pops.
Alex.
My character, seeing that, then turns to Bertie. None of that! And then also goes just straight for Bertie's head again, taking the penalty for non-lethal. 20.
Is that including the penalty?
No. So it's not a hit.
Yep.
So it's at best it's a clang.
Do you mind?
Stop it! Just no point in any of this. Just stop. We'll have a drink. It'll be great. By the way, years of work have just gone down the drain.
Once again, Alex's character's travelling companion casts a spell. Bertie, please make a will save.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's just 9.
You are also completely paralysed.
Turning to my companion. Would you stop doing that?
Why doesn't everyone just calm down? I'm with this guy.
Thank you.
And we're going to end the episode there.
Okay.
All episodes are better when Bertie's paralysed. I feel like you just stop doing evil.
Yeah.
That's what it is. There's just a small period free from bigotry.
I do enjoy how a bar brawl is apparently evil.
Evil!
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my first attempt at GMing for the Rusty Quill. And I will be back next week, and we will see what continues to happen to Bertie and his entirely new group. Bye.
See you later.
Bye.
Evil! Rusty Quill Gaming is a podcast distributed by rustyquill.com and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial International License. Today's episode was recorded and produced by Alexander J. Newall. To comment on episodes, make donations, and view links, images, videos, and show notes, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. Visit us on Facebook. Tweet us on Twitter at @TheRustyQuill or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Thanks for listening.
The third is the something Admiral in Dover.
The Soggy.
That was a restaurant.
Yeah.
I'd have to check. I don't have my notes. I'm not a GM, Bryn.
Wasn't it just the Admiralty? Admiralty.
The third is the...
Just leaving that there, are we?
So he opens the letter.
and I have just handed you a piece of paper because, as a good GM, when there are written things down, I print them out ahead of time.
I'm gonna kill everything.
What lovely handwriting you have, Bryn. It's very very uniform.
Yes, I copied it from the Times, the Roman section.
Glory, riches, and going down in history as someone who uncovered what is arguably one of the most important relics regarding the human race.
Can we just have you guys play a two-headed creature for the rest of the campaign? That would be amazing.
Don't you do that?
Best days of your life. When I read your letter, you have lovely handwriting, by the way, at times almost New Roman. And
That is a period I've studied quite a lot.
yes, myself as well, for I am a man of fine distinction.